Hi, everyone. For this study review, we're going to be looking at the effects of caffeine on jumping performance and maximal strength in female college athletes. As a personal trainer and someone who exercises regularly, it's always been known to me that caffeine positively affects performance for both strength and power related activities. This statement, though, is actually quite overgeneralized because most of the current research surrounding caffeine in sports performance has mainly been done using male participants. So the findings don't necessarily hold true for the female population. As we dive further into the study, you'll see why it's very important to include females in this style of research surrounding sports performance and nutrition. Caffeine is the world's most prevalent psychoactive drug and has a number of beneficial effects related to sports performance. This study looks to evaluate impacts on maximal strength and power from caffeine intake in female athletes. So, this study uses a randomized, double blind, placebo controlled crossover design. Participants were 11 female athletes, 8 of them being volleyball players, and 3 of them being weightlifters. Participants received a randomized condition for one session, so either a placebo or a 6 milligram per kilogram of body weight dose of caffeine taken with 250 milliliters of water 1 hour before testing, or the opposite for the second session. Participants for the study were asked to keep a food diary so that they were able to replicate their nutritional intake for both sessions. They were also told to avoid caffeine and strenuous activity for 36 hours before the testing period. Athletes were then taken through a standardized warm up, followed by vertical jump testing, both loaded and unloaded, to evaluate jumping, and then isometric mid thigh pulls to test maximal strength. So, the results for this study showed that caffeine had a small, significant effect on jumping performance, but maximal strength was not significantly affected. 10 out of the 11 athletes improved in the caffeine addiction, indicating a consistent beneficial effect over the placebo condition. So the graphs show squat jump height would be A, counter movement jump height would be B, so that's the loaded squat jump. And then C, the graph down here, is the isometric peak force mid thigh pull, so maximal strength. So, discussion and implications. This study demonstrates the need to include female athletes in studies of this nature because this data shows that what might be true for males doesn't necessarily hold true and work equally for females. Also, female athletes looking to enhance athletic performance should consider caffeine for improvements in jumping and power, but it may not necessarily affect strength. The limitations for this study are quite vast, starting with the sample size only being 11 participants. That's extremely small. There was also very minimal control over environmental factors such as sleep, recovery, medications, metabolism, regular caffeine intake or usage, and hormonal cycles. So, moving forward, this study is a prime example of the need for female based research regarding performance and nutrition. We also need much larger sample sizes to help the validity and reliability for these studies to be able to be used for different demographics. Lastly, there should be much more research done about how to improve maximal strength through nutrition with a focus on female athletes, since the study showed no statistically significant differences between the caffeine intake and the placebo. These are my references, and thank you for watching.